Hi everyone, Nonnie here, part 2 of my Shakedown video. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I told you in my first video, I finally made it up to Blood Mountain, and that experience was incredible. Then I had to go down, and the descent was more challenging than actually going up. As I was going down and being very thoughtful about my foot placement from rock to boulder and how far they were apart, and it was challenging. I'm not going to say that it wasn't. There was this family that passed me going up the mountain. It was a mom and dad and 5 children. I don't know if all 5 children belonged to them and some of them were just friends, but there were 5 kids. And these kids ranged from age 11 to 5. They were adorable. They looked like Swiss Family Robinson going up that mountain. It was just, they were cute. I didn't talk to them. They didn't talk to me. I just kind of chuckled as they passed by because they were so adorable, and continued, my concentration and my focus getting down the hill. As I was going, down the mountain, as I was going down the mountain, I got a little further, and that same family that had passed me already was already on their way back down. A little demoralizing, but it's the way it is. And as I was walking and I was hearing a bunch of chatter behind me, I heard a little boy. I didn't know it was the little boy that had gone up the hill because it was behind me. I heard a little boy say, "I don't know what you all are complaining about. All hiking is walking. You're just walking. What is the big deal?" And he passed. I turned around to look, and I thought it was hysterical. I started laughing out loud. Didn't faze any of those kids a bit. They were like spider monkeys over those rocks. They just, in 15 seconds, they were gone and out of my sight. The mom and dad were a little bit further back, and when they got up to me, I looked at the mom and I said, "I want to share something with you." And she said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "I don't know if those are all your kids, but the little one said something that was really interesting." And she just hung her head and said, "Oh." I said, No, it's okay. I have grandkids and I've had kids and I know that look, but you don't need to worry. What he said was hysterical." And she said, "What did he say?" And I told her what he said. She thought it was hysterical too, and she said, "It doesn't surprise me. The kinds of things come out of his mouth all the time." We said our goodbyes. They went their merry way, but I stood there for a minute and I thought, what a profound moment for me to realize that out of the mouth of a 5-year-old came a motto that I want to incorporate into my challenges of walking up mountains, hills, long distances. Hiking is just walking. It's just putting one foot in front of the other. And he had a lot of insight for a 5-year-old. It's just walking. That's all it is. Very funny. It took me a little time to get back down to the bottom of that mountain. And as you do, I think it's 2.5 miles from the top of Blood Mountain until you get to Neels Gap. When I was ready to come down the mountain, I just, in addition to going a little slower, I really stopped to smell the roses, the foliage, the flowers, the insects, the sunlight. As I said in my first video, it had been pouring down rain and I could see that it was starting to cloud up. It was awesome. It was just incredible. Now, I'll tell you something that I learned on the trail. When you have not had anybody hike in front of you, and you decide that you're going to go down a Blue Blaze or just the AT, but nobody has gone before you, spiders live in the woods. Spiders, lots of them, a gajillion of them, and they make their webs from the tree to that other tree that's way over there across the trail. And when you walk into them, that's quite a sensation. And I've learned since then that that's called silk blazing, and that there's always the first person that gets up in the morning and starts down that trail and kind of clears the path for everybody else coming up. I had spiders. I had one, literally, it was right there, and I had to back up because I saw that I was going to walk into a spider web with a spider right in the middle. You also learn to take your trekking poles and kind of do this in front of you to clear the way. I learned a lot on this hike. It was just awesome. Anyway, I got to Neels Gap and stood there and looked at all the shoes that were hanging from the tree outside of that store. And I want to share this with you. I got there at 10 minutes after 5. They closed at 5 o'clock. And all I wanted was a sandwich. I just wanted a sandwich. I was tired of hiker food. I just wanted a sandwich. And for those of you that don't know me, I don't eat sandwiches. I typically eat a salad or some other something. I don't eat a lot of sandwiches, but that's all I wanted was a sandwich. I found out they were closed. Well, outside of that area, they have some picnic tables, and I kind of just sat down and I was regrouping, trying to think, okay, well, I've got food in my pack. I have food to eat, and figured out what I was going to have for dinner, and then I was trying to figure out where I was going to go to spend the night that night, because it was going to start pouring down rain at any moment. It was already sprinkling. When I heard this tap, 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 and I looked around, and I couldn't see where the tap was coming from because the way the sun was coming in, there was a lot of glare. I finally got up and kind of looked over at the building, and there was a woman that was tapping at the window, and she looked at me, she pointed, and she went like that, which meant go to the door. And so I went to the door and I said, hey, and she said, are you a Thru-Hiker? And I said, well, I'm not a Thru-Hiker. I'm doing my Shakedown hike. I'm going to be a Thru-Hiker next year. She said, did you need something in the store? And I said, I sure did. I wanted a sandwich. And she said, we're closed, but come on in. I have some things that I need to do to clean up, but you just go on ahead and come in, take your time. This is where the food section is. You can figure out what you want. I thought that was the kindest thing for her to do. Her name was Felicity. And as far as I'm concerned, she was a trail angel, because that was what I needed that day. It was a long hike. I was hungry. It was pouring. At this point now, it was pouring down rain. And it was an awesome thing, an incredible thing for her to do. She asked me what I wanted, and when she opened the freezer, I saw pizza. Now, I had not planned on having a pizza. I didn't think about having a pizza, but once I saw it, I thought that's what I want for dinner. And she said, well, let me go turn the oven on for you. And she went and baked that pizza for me, even though she was closed. And I felt so bad because I thought, am I keeping you from closing and going home? She said, no, I have to restock drinks. I've got to clean the restrooms. I've got a lot of things I need to do. It's okay. You just take your time. We'll be fine. It's no worries. She was so laid back and so encouraging and such a kind young woman. And I appreciated her sensitivity and especially her encouragement for having hiked as many miles as I hiked that day, and that I am an older person. She went out of her way to be accommodating for me. So Felicity, if you ever watch this video, thank you. It was sweet. It was sweet. It touched me deeply. I'm going to close for now. This video has been long enough. That was my Shakedown hike. I had a great time. I learned a lot about my gear, my equipment, rain, being hot, being humid, and that I never thought I could smell so bad in my life. Had no idea I was capable of having that aroma come off of my body. But I would do it all again tomorrow if I could. So you older hikers, you can do it too. Get off the couch, go to the doctor, get your physician's clearance, do whatever you have to do, because you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it. Come on, let's go hike with me. Until my next video, take good care, and if you would please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. Thank you kindly. See you next time.